Good morning, everyone. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. All right, you guys, we need to do the recap for Sunday night's episode of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. I am sorry that this is a day late. Yesterday got ahead of me or behind me, or I lost my day. You know what I mean? And we're going to get right going. This one was, again, another long one, and I'm going to try to whip through this as fast as possible and be as highly entertaining for you as I can. This one was kind of, I don't know, in a way like, wow, a lot of Geoffrey and Varya. I kind of understand now why TLC was not able to cut them from the show, even after the fact that apparently he got arrested once he was done in Russia and all the filming for him had wrapped. So we're going to find out a lot today about Geoffrey. Now, let's just start off with the fact that Geoffrey's a really intense guy. And I really think that Geoffrey's the kind of guy that thinks that, like, he has to do things very impulsively, in my opinion, or at least that's how he comes off in the show. Like, this guy has been married 4 times. He was married while he was in Russia. He asked someone to marry him while he was in Russia. And then he goes home and he's going to pursue a new relationship while he's still married. All of this is just so incredibly messy, and he seems so unable or incapable of being by himself that he has to go from one relation to the next, and he's just so desperate to find his soulmate that he'll, like, go on to anything. Anyways, Geoffrey is returning to the United States. He says that Varya keeps texting him, but he's ignoring him. His 2 older sons pick him up at the airport. He buys them some shirts that he says you'll only get in Russia. He said that it was pretty awkward when he first met Varya. He said that he had to tell her mom and her brother about his background and the time he spent behind the clinky clink. He said that sort of after that set the tone for the rest of the trip, and it made things a little bit more awkward and Varya less trusting of him. He said that they went camping and then they went to this really awesome place that was super, super pretty where they were able to get some coffee and go for a walk. And he said that he asked her to marry him and he said no. And she said no. And one of the kids said, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't have a good feeling about this. Like, imagine you just know that your dad is going to impulsively go over to Russia, try to, like, get engaged, and when the lady doesn't get engaged to him because he has to get the answer now, she's like, bye. Anyways, and then he talks about how at the airport she was saying goodbye, and he's like, and she just was like trying to kiss me. He's like, I don't know what she expects of me. I mean, she keeps saying that she's made a mistake, but, you know, she wasn't ready, and I want a woman that says, you're my man, you're the only one, you're it. So when you're ready, the other person has to be ready too. So when you say jump, they have to say how high. That doesn't make sense to me. How about, like, going at the speed of the pace the relationship can go? Why does she have to say now? This relationship was so new. Why do you have to immediately get, like, engaged and married? It doesn't make sense, Geoffrey. Okay. Off to Tom. Which, by the way, why do we care about Tom? Seriously. Why? Why do we care? Tom is like the D-hole of this series. Anyway, he's in New York and he meets up with his friend about the trip, and they're like outside at a pier, and he talks about how he like met up with Darcey because, you know, things that hadn't been good for a while, so he had to see her in person to see still if things were there, but he said it didn't work out because they had an argument, and then she left. And then he said he went to Connecticut to give her a letter, and then he got the door slammed in his face. And then he admitted that he didn't make it easier on her because he started seeing someone behind her back and didn't tell her about it. And then his friend was like, well, then what were you expecting? Like, of course she's going to slam the door in your face if you, like, didn't tell her you were seeing something. And he goes, you know, karma is a B. If you do bad things to people, bad things are going to happen to you. Can I just say I love this friend? And he's like, you got to leave Darcey alone. Like, seriously, leave her alone. Because Tom at this point was still like, well, maybe I need to go see Darcey because I need more 5 minutes I need a little bit more camera time. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, Tom? His friend was my favorite person this whole entire season. And then he's like, I'm going to go see Shannon and see how this relationship is going to be there. And then his friend is like, dude, you need to stop being such a playboy. You're going to be 50 or 60 years old, all by yourself, total loser, alone, because you can't settle down and you're going to just keep on, you're going to let your life pass you by because you're such a doodlehead to women. Tom's friend for the win. Yay! Okay. Lisa and Usman. Oh, they're fighting again. Shocking. So she calls for, oh wait, they weren't fighting here. She calls for the divorce decree because she's in York, right? And she needs to get it from York, Pennsylvania because she's divorced. And she's all like, Usman didn't tell me. He didn't tell me that I needed it. Common sense, Lisa tells you that if you're going to get married, you need to have a copy of your divorce decrees. But, whatever. Keep blaming Usman for everything. And she calls the clerk, and the clerk is like, the clerk after a while agrees to be able to email it. And then she's like, yay, we can get married. You can apply for a spousal visa. It'll be great. And then Usman's like, finally like, ooh, my plan has worked. I get the spousal visa, then I go to the United States, and then I leave her. I leave baby girl for my one true love, whoever that is. It's so clear that he is so not into her. Anyways, it's like a business transaction, this relationship. So she was like super happy then, but then it quickly turned because she says that she opened up his Facebook, or she somehow was like trying to get on his Wi-Fi, and then she got into his Messenger. I'm sure that's exactly what happened, Lisa. And she saw messages from him and this woman, and he's like, I saw the horror in your Messenger. I've been watching her on Facebook for months. You are sticking. Well, like, listen, what do you expect? This guy literally lives in Nigeria, and he's probably a Yahoo boy. What do you expect? And then she's like, you're doing this to me behind my back. Like, you're only sticking with me because you know that you have this person here that you love, that you said you love. Because apparently the messages she found were extremely flirty, and he was telling this woman that he loves her. This wouldn't be the first time that something like this could have happened. We've had previous seasons where people have had already like a spouse or like even a girlfriend in the place that they are at. And then once they get there, they bring that person over. Yeah, it's happened before. So he's like adamant that it's not his girlfriend. He's like, we call everyone love in Nigeria. That's just what we do. Yeah, I'm sure. He's like, it does not mean I'm in love with her. I have no other girlfriend because no other girlfriend like Lisa can give me visa. He didn't really say that. And then she's like, you need to clean up your phone and block her. I've been playing this game for too long. And then she's like, I'm marrying you as a favor. What? That's what Usman said, not her. Anyways, like he literally said, I'm marrying you as a favor. And she's like, what? You're not that big of a star. Don't tell me what to do. You and your little goat can get... Who the F does he think he is? In one breath, I'm like, dude, Lisa, I'd be pissed too, but what did you expect? This is Usman, and he's literally like a tool canoe. A douche paddle. A paddle behind the douche. You know what I mean? Okay, Darcey, she's back. She's with her girls. They're going to do face masks. And of course, she's having super adult conversations with her daughters. And she's like, ever since I've been home, my girls have been there for me. Mom, and then the girls are like, Mom, you're just like so Barbie. You're such a Barbie, Mom. Where's your Ken? And her daughters are like sad that they have to see Mommy going through such heartache and pain. Well, maybe Mommy should look on the side of the ocean and not invest in these guys from the other parts of the world. Maybe Mommy could do things like that instead of, doing what she's doing. But anyways, Darcey says she's the best role model she can have for the girls. Todd is, and then Tom is like all leaving to go see Shannon. And he's like, at least I'm like going to look forward to my future. We weren't on the same page, but now Darcey and I are on the same page. And I am not going to like do this anymore. Arguments are not fun, and we can all move on with our lives. Hey, Doodlehead, I'm pretty sure you already are probably broken up with Shannon, and I know that you are, and you are probably still single because you are the worst. Right? Tom is the worst. Okay. Where is my Avery and Ash photo? Outtakes. You're going to see my outtakes. Okay. Avery and Ash. She hasn't told Ash about what Sion told her. She wakes up that morning and she said she needs time to process from everything. Ash says that she wasn't expecting Avery to actually spend the night with him in the hotel. Of course, Ash is like this lovesick puppy dog that thinks that anytime someone says that they like him, that they're absolutely in love with him. For someone who's a coach, he certainly doesn't seem to have the most highest self-esteem. Anyways, she asks him about the divorce and says, like, when you told me you got divorced 10 years ago. And he said that, like, he didn't want to tell her that because he just, thought that she would, like, actually, like, judge him for that. She also brought up Sion. She said that Sion was more upset than he had said, and that he said it was a challenge. I was trying to find the best of it. He admits that he downplayed it. And she's like, well, I need you to be real with reality. And then Ash is like in his interview and he's like, she believes that I have not been upfront. Sion was okay in the beginning and then she changed her mind over a period of time. Maybe the information was lost. No. I don't think your ex-wife was ever okay with this. Ever. Like, no mom is ever going to be okay with this. And then he says at Taj's age, she says that at Taj's age, you need to spend more time with him because he's really not, he shouldn't be uprooting his life. So maybe he should like stay with her for like 3 months or whatever. Then she brings up the divorce and he basically just says, we just didn't get around to it. We weren't really, neither one of us were trying to work it out. We just didn't do it. But he didn't want to tell her because he feared that she would like judge him for having recently just been divorced. So it seems as though Ash just avoids conversations so that he doesn't have to have them, and he just lies and runs around the truth so that he doesn't have to deal with them, which could be a reason why we are seeing all this drama. Okay, now back to Yolanda. Yolanda is still clueless. She is still a terrible actress. The storyline is so boring. I don't even really want to talk about it. She's basically saying that she's still in love with Williams. It's super fake. It's really fake. It's really fake. It's really fake. Moving on. Okay. Ed and Rose, they are like, he's talking about how they got in a huge fight and he didn't tell her that he wanted more kids. And, she told me it was over and I wasn't expecting that. And like, he walks into the room and all of her stuff is gone. I mean, her stuff's gone. He's like, she's gone. She's really gone. She said she wanted to leave, but she didn't even say goodbye. And then he's trying so hard to muster tears. I mean, that's what he looked like. Like, seriously, Ed. The one thing I thought was funny is Ed had backpacks with his logo on it, like his head. Like, on Instagram, he's got that big head, like, Big Ed, like, face caricature. It's on all of his, like, luggage. Like, I feel like Ed was just trying to be a star because he already had his merch stuff before he left in stickers. Like, who has stickers with their faces on them? Okay, anyways. And he's like, it's been 28 years since I've been single, and, like, I just thought she was the one. I thought this was real. And then now I have to find out it's not. No, you never thought this was real, Ed. You were doing this for clout and for fame. And, like, I don't buy it. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I know that it's over with Rose, so I need to try to put my life back together. I need to reach out to my daughter, Tiffany. I want her to know that it was about me finding love for me. In the end, I get nothing. Oh, yes, you're the victim. Yes, that's right. You're the one that wanted Rose to do all these things. You left out all these important details, like how tall you were. You didn't tell her you didn't want kids. You asked her to do a bunch of humiliating things, and you didn't respect her or her family. And then he's like back. He's like gets in a taxi. He gets on the plane. He goes back from Manila to San Diego. And then while he's on the plane, he's like looking at the photos and this thing. He's like, yeah, nobody's buying it, Ed. Okay, now on to Steph and Erika. So Erika and Steph are have broken up, but somehow they have agreed to meet on their meet for their like up to talk about things. But look at this. There's talking about meeting, and Erika writes, I feel like I've been led on, and Stephanie goes out of her way to like tell her led and corrects it. Seriously, Stephanie, you had to be that like that. You had to correct her when you're just trying to arrange things. You couldn't just say, I feel like you led me on, and you corrected her and said led. Anyways, she texts, they agree to meet up, and, she doesn't know that it's, salvageable at this point. It wasn't her intention to hurt her, but she really just wants to make sure that everything, she can at least leave on a better note. So they meet, and it's pretty cold. She's sitting there. They're having like cold as in like the tension between them is fierce. Erika tells her that she's like, it's not been the best time for her. But she's like, so you're here and you said you wanted to talk. So talk to me, like that kind of thing. And, she says that she's sorry. Like Erika's like, I've driven 3 hours to talk to Steph. I wasn't prepared to risk so much for her. I don't know that I can come back from that. So Erika walks into it feeling like that. And then Stephanie's like, this trip has had some good moments and not so great moments. Is there any way that I can leave here and not be on such a bad note? And Erika tells her that she's had too many apologies in the last few weeks, that it's been really hard to deal with all of the apologies. She said, I came out to my parents. You weren't willing to do that. It's been hard to take because that you broke up with me and I had to go back to my parents and tell them that this is like all for naught. And Steph is like, all I can do is apologize. I still have a lot of crazy insecurities and jealousy, and I'm sorry that I brought this into our relationship. And then Erika's like, you should have told me about your insecurities. You need to figure out that crap before you do this to somebody. That's a huge problem. I mean, this is huge stuff. And I agree. Like, if you are this insecure and if you are this jealous, it's not the person that you're just meeting's fault. You can't put that on them. This is Steph not being mentally prepared or emotionally prepared to be in a relationship, but then making everyone else's problems making her problem everybody else's. And then Stephanie's just sitting there like, is there anything else you want to talk about? And like Erika just is like, I think you've said anything. I think I've said anything I have to say. I want to forget about this entire relationship. And this is like in their like joint interview at the end. Like, so Stephanie walks off, right? And Erika's just like, I think I've said everything I need to say. Like, I want to forget this entire relationship ever happened, but I can't because now my friends and family know about it and all they want to do is ask me about it and I don't want to talk about it. And Steph's like, well, I'm just going to have to go home and I'm going to have to stuff it down inside. And I can't tell anyone because I'm not telling anyone about my relationships with you because I haven't come out, And then Stephanie leaves and she's just like, I appreciate coming here and reach out if you ever want to talk. And Stephanie laments that she wishes that she would have, met the person that she felt insanely in love with. That relationship was a mess. Like, I feel bad for Erika, but Stephanie posted on Instagram that, she didn't want to be forced out and, there was things that, they edited out and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so David is actually waiting to meet Lana, and he actually sees her, and it's her. But then they flash back to 24 hours before, and Lana is like in an interview with her producers, and they're like at the gym with her, and they're talking about who she is. And she basically talks about how she lives in Kiev, but she doesn't go back to the city that she's from. So when she was at that city that David was at, apparently she wasn't there or something like that. She said it's really boring there. She loves makeup and beauty. She's never been married. She's never been engaged. She just said she hasn't met a man worthy of it. She uses the registry for dating. She registered for the dating sites when she was having trouble finding anyone. She said she liked David's sense of humor, and she thought that he was attractive. She also said that she's never been to the United States and would love to go there for better opportunities, and that David lives in Vegas and there's lots of bright lights and casinos there. She said that she had wanted to meet him, but then she decided not to, so she was going to meet him on Monday. And then a friend calls, and the first thing her friend says is he wealthy? And she's like, yeah, he's wealthy. And she tells him that he's close to 60, lives in Vegas, is wealthy, gets paid very well. And then her friend's like, well, I hope he brings you lots of gifts. And she's like, me too, scammer. She says that she didn't meet David, but she changed her mind. But now she's like, she said she bought her train ticket, but she just didn't show up because she just didn't want to. She denied that she got paid by the sites to socialize. And she just wants to see in real life how this is all going to play out. I believe none of it. Even though Lana's real, Lana is still a scammer, in my opinion. All right, so now in Tennessee, Mr. Geoffrey, he said he's still avoiding Varya, that she keeps trying to, contact him, but, he's just so over it. As soon as he wanted to marry it, he's just done. He's done. And he said that they talked, they hung out, he has been talking to Mary. He thinks there's potential going there. And, they have this long history together and they weren't on the same timeline, but they are on now. And, he said he thinks it could be different this time. And, he isn't going to talk to Varya. He doesn't want to go there. He wants to forget about his feelings for Varya, so he's just going to replace it with Mary. And so he meets up with Mary, and she's like at dinner, and she knows that Geoffrey proposed to her, but, you know, she says that, you know, this feels right. It's been all these years in the making. She just wants to make sure that he's in this as much as she is. And then, you know, he asks her, like, are you seeing anyone? She says no. He just says, you know, I don't want to F up our friendship, so I either want to be a life partner or a friend forever. Like, there's nothing in between with this guy. Like, he wants everyone to be, like, the next one. But that's why he's probably been married 4 times. Mary said that she says that she would like a relationship, but she wants to make sure he's over Varya. And he's like, I'm feeling really good about this. I see myself with you. I keep going down this direction, and we are going. And this is going to be great. You're going to be my next wife. Like, just as intensely as he was about Varya a week ago. Now he's like, yeah, Mary, it's all about you. You know, it's like, to our future. Maybe I didn't need to go to Russia to find love. You were here my whole time. Like, seriously? Okay. Back to Avery and Ash. They are going to go out with Taj. So they go to a park. Ash said that Ash said that he loves Taj and loves when Taj gives him hugs. When they go pick up Taj, they go to the park, they skip rocks. Avery's concerned about how it will affect him. Even Ash is concerned about how it's going to affect him. He admits that his priority should be Taj because he's only 9 years old. And then they go they go to the park, they look at the ducks, they skip rocks. And then Avery's kind of thinking about how if Ash were to come here, he would have to spend time away from Taj. She doesn't want to create any issues at all between the kid and his father. She's like, then she sort of tells him, like, you know, I'm really sorry. I'm going to feel really bad. It's going to be weird leaving you because I've gotten so used to being with you. And that, you know, she's worried she's going to miss him. But she also knows that filing for the K-1 visa is not in their future because of where they're at in their lives. And then Erika says that she's back at her parents' house, and she, like, has to tell her mom that they broke up. So she's, like, talking about how it didn't go well. While she's unpacking, she's sort of talking to the camera. She said that her feelings for Steph are really strong. She's really hurt. She's very confused. And then, like, she sits and she says that things are really bad with Steph, like, really bad. And she's upset that she never came out to her mom. And then she said it spiraled really quickly. So she's telling her mom, like, hey, Mom, like, totally everything didn't work out. She wouldn't come out. We got into this massive big fat fight, and now we are, like, totally not friends. And she's basically saying, like, she acts like she doesn't know who I am when I've always been open and honest with her. And she says, and then her mom is like, well, is there anywhere that you can salvage this? And her mom's just like, and she's like, nope, I'm done. I feel like I'm always giving so much of myself to everyone, and I want people to be happy. And then her mom is just like, that's because you just have such a beautiful heart and you're such a good person. She's like, you know, her mom basically tells her, I don't want you to be miserable out of this. She's glad that she was able to come out. It wasn't a waste. That one day she will find someone, and that she can always talk to her mom about what she's going through. Okay. Now back to Geoffrey. Like, Geoffrey and Varya were this whole episode. So he's moving on with his relationship, and he's going to move on and get on with it. And he goes dirt biking or on 4-wheelers, I think, with his kids, and they're happy. And, you know, the kids are like, well, has Varya reached out? And he's like, nah, it's fine. And he's talking about how he's going to be with Mary. He's like, I want Mary. The timing's right. We're both looking for a future. And then all of a sudden it cuts to like Varya, and she's like, my tourist visa got approved, and I'm gonna go surprise Geoffrey because, girl, he hasn't been returning your calls for 3 weeks, and you're just gonna do this. This is like stalker level. I feel bad for Varya. She's like, she didn't tell him that she was coming, and this is the first time she's going to the United States. So she says she wants to prove to him that she's serious, that she doesn't care about his past, and that she's here to be with him, and that she loves him. And then she's like talking about how, you know, I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna be drop dead gorgeous. I only got a hotel for one night because I'm gonna stay the rest of the time when I'm with him there. Like, seriously, this is what she thought. And she says that she hasn't even talked to him. He has no idea that he's got there. And she's like, And they ask her, like, how do you think it's going to go? And he's like, oh, I think he's going to be, like, so happy to see me, and he's going to love me, and he's going to propose to me again. Oh, you have no idea. Back to Usman and Lisa. Lisa is still super angry with him, and Usman's like, she's mad at me. I need to go, meet with her and get angry, blah, blah, blah. We need to sit down and finish what we're discussing. So he, like, chases on after her. He brings her back. And she's like, do you have any idea? Do you know who you're effing with? I have a lot of history. I've been around the block. I know stuff. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I'm not in a relationship with her. I'm an entertainer. You think these girls that I'm dating, this lady, I've done nothing with this lady. She says I love you, but there are hundreds of these. Like, he's like, all these ladies tell me that they love me. Like, seriously. And he says he loves them back. And she's like, Lisa's like, you have no idea how much you've hurt me. And she said that she would literally be gone from this relationship if she were in the U.S. She would have ended the relationship. It would have been done. She would have talked to him again. And that after they sit down and talk, she believes that Usman and him don't have a thing, but she thinks that Usman's never had a woman put him in his place. And he still says he has to propose to her. God, Lisa, you're starting to look desperate. It makes me sad. So David and Lana finally meet. He's like, I can't believe you're here. I can't believe I'm with you here. I'm seeing her and her walking up and she's so beautiful. And they like hug, and like Lana looks so uncomfortable. Like, and he's all like, oh, Lana. And she's just like, and they can't even speak to each other because they don't speak the same language. But she says that she likes David, but everything but his tacky leather coat. She thinks he's attractive, and he gets really excited. They both are happy, and she says that he might be her soulmate, and they walk off. Back to Geoffrey and Varya. So she finally arrives in the United States. She's there. She took all this time to get there. She's getting ready to go to his house. Mind you, Geoffrey has no idea that this is coming. She's like admitting that this might not turn out to be a good idea because he could say no. So she's super nervous and her hands are shaking, and she gets in a cab and they drive all the way over there. She gets out of the cab, and when she arrives, he has it's sort of a country sort of area. The dogs are outside. He knocks on the door and she leaps into his arms. He has no microphone on. I don't think they even knew she was coming. And then she's like, I'm here to surprise you. I'm here. And he's just like, and then all of a sudden, Mary comes out the corner and is like, what's going on here? And that's how it ends. So next week, we'll see what happens between Mary and Varya. We'll find out about David and Lana. Maybe Usman and Lisa will finally get married. And Geoffrey, I think Avery and Ash's timeline needs to be done soon. I'm just so done with this season. I'm bored. This season has been too long, and there's been too many long episodes. I don't understand why every episode has to be 5 million hours, but that's just me. I'm ready for this season to be over. Are you? Are you ready for the next season of 90 Day Fiance the other way? All right, what are your thoughts? Was Varya an idiot for visiting Geoffrey without a surprise? Will Mary and Varya fight? Is Tom the biggest D-hole? Is Lisa stupid for believing Usman? Are Ash and Avery ever going to make it out? Is the Yolanda story fake? And does Ed know how to squeeze tears out of his eyeballs? And who is it? Are you team Erika, team Steph, or team I really don't give a flying F? All right, you guys, I'll be back later with more. Bye.